Is the silence of the Philadelphia Phillies front office a sign of supreme confidence, or is it the sound of a championship window slowly creaking shut while their neighbors reload? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are stripping away the PR speak and getting right down to the raw nerve of the National League East. When you play in Philadelphia, you don't just play against 9 guys on the field. You play against the ghosts of seasons past, the roar of a demanding crowd, and the crushing weight of expectation. Bryce Harper, the heartbeat of this franchise, knows this better than anyone. He sat down recently and delivered a quote that, on the surface, looks like respect. But if you listen closely, if you really tune into the frequency of a competitor, it sounds a lot like a warning siren. Harper looked at the New York Mets, he looked at the Atlanta Braves, and he didn't mince words. He called the division a juggernaut. Obviously, we're expected to win the NL East, Harper said. I feel like it's that every single year. That is the burden of the superstar. But then, he pivoted. He pointed directly at Queens. Obviously, the Mets got better, getting Freddie Peralta and a couple other guys on that club. This isn't just casual observation. This is Harper acknowledging a fundamental shift in the power dynamics. While the Phillies spent the winter largely dormant, trusting in the healing powers of rest and the development of their youth, the Mets were out there headhunting. They were acquiring arms. They were changing the math. Why does this matter right now? Because we are standing on the precipice of a season where good isn't going to be good enough. Harper's comments reveal a tension that is bubbling under the surface of Citizens Bank Park. He is effectively saying, we are good, yes, but are we good enough to beat teams that refuse to stand still? The Phillies didn't make the splashy move. They didn't bring in the marquee free agent to sell jerseys in January. They are betting everything on the idea that the 2024 roster has another gear. Harper is trying to manifest that belief, saying, we've just got to play our game. But deep down, every fan watching this knows that playing your game is a lot harder when the guy on the mound for the other team is Freddie Peralta, and your lineup is facing a pitching staff that has been completely re-engineered to destroy you. This is the conflict of the season before the first pitch is even thrown. Stagnation versus evolution. And Harper is standing right in the middle of it. To truly grasp the magnitude of Harper's anxiety, we have to open the history books and look at what happens when NL East powerhouses decide to take different paths during the winter. Let's contextualize this juggernaut comment. The National League East isn't just a division, it is a meat grinder. Go back to the 90s with the Braves' rotation of Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. Go back to the mid-2000s when the Phillies and Mets were trading blows in September. History teaches us a brutal lesson in this division. The moment you get comfortable is the moment you get surpassed. The Phillies are currently attempting a strategy that has failed countless teams before them. The organic growth model in a win-now window. By highlighting the Mets' acquisition of Peralta, Harper is drawing a parallel to arms races of the past. He remembers the Washington Nationals loading up on pitching to win a ring. He knows that pitching depth is the currency of October. When Harper mentions the Braves getting their guys back, he is reminding everyone that Atlanta is a machine that doesn't break. It just reboots. The Phillies, on the other hand, are relying on a very specific, fragile ecosystem. They need their young guns, the Stotts, the Bohms, the Marshes, to not just repeat their performances, but to exceed them. This is the context of continuity. The front office believes that chemistry is a tangible asset that wins games. And sure, in 2022, that chemistry took them to the World Series. But in 2024, the league adjusts. Pitchers find holes in swings. The book gets written on your young stars. The Mets, conversely, have opted for the context of disruption. They looked at their flaws and threw resources at them until they disappeared. Harper sees this. He respects it. And frankly, it probably frustrates him just a little bit. He is a student of the game. He knows that historically, the team that wins the offseason doesn't always win the World Series. Look at the Dream Team Eagles, or the 2023 Mets for that matter. But the team that does nothing rarely hoists the trophy either. There is a middle ground that the Phillies seem to have skipped entirely. They are banking on health in a sport defined by attrition. Harper's shout-out to the Mets is a subtle nod to the fact that New York has built a safety net, while Philadelphia is walking the tightrope without one. If the Phillies' rotation suffers 1 or 2 key injuries, they are looking at minor league replacements. If the Mets suffer injuries, they now have legitimate big league depth. That is the difference between a juggernaut and a house of cards, and Harper knows it. Now let's talk about the financial fallout, the roster implications, and the absolute chaos that will ensue if this gamble blows up in Philadelphia's face. We need to analyze the cap hit of inaction. The Phillies have one of the highest payrolls in baseball, but it is top-heavy. They are paying premium prices for superstars like Harper, Turner, and Wheeler. When you have that much money tied up in the top 5% of your roster, you need the bottom 95% to overperform on cheap deals. That is the model. But here is the projection that keeps executives awake at night. What if the regression monster comes for the Phillies? What if the veterans coming off injuries, the ones Harper alluded to, don't bounce back? We aren't just talking about losing games. We are talking about a roster that becomes immovable. If the Phillies are sitting in third place in July, trailing a surging Mets team led by Peralta and a healthy Braves squad, the narrative shifts violently. The "trust the kids" strategy will be viewed as negligence. The fans, who are currently split between "in Dave we trust" and "why are we sleeping," will unite in fury. I've seen the forums, I've heard the call-in shows. Half the fan base thinks the chemistry is magic. The other half thinks the front office is arrogant. Harper is trying to bridge this divide, but he can't hit a 3-run homer every single night to save the narrative. Let's project the future scenarios. Scenario A. The youngsters explode, the rotation stays healthy, and the Phillies win 100 games. Harper looks like a prophet, and the front office looks like geniuses for holding on to their prospects. Scenario B. The Mets' new rotation dominates, the Braves cruise, and the Phillies are fighting for a wild card spot with a depleted bullpen and an aging core. In Scenario B, the seat under the general manager gets scorching hot. You have to understand the psychology of the locker room too. If the Mets start hot and the Phillies stumble, doubts will creep in. Should we have done more? Do we have enough? Those whispers destroy seasons. Harper is trying to get ahead of those whispers by acknowledging the challenge now. He is setting the stage. This is going to be hard. Don't be surprised when it's a dogfight. He is managing expectations not just for the fans but for his own teammates. He is telling them that the juggernaut is real, and they better bring their hard hats every single day or they will get run over. So as we stare down the barrel of opening day, we are left with a fascinating duality: the calculated aggression of New York versus the stubborn faith of Philadelphia. Bryce Harper didn't have to say anything about the Mets. Most superstars give the standard, boring answers. We focus on us. We don't look at the other dugout. But Harper is different. He understands the theater of baseball. By name-dropping Freddie Peralta, he poured gasoline on the rivalry fire. He validated the Mets' offseason. He gave them bulletin board material, but he also gave his own team a reality check. He is telling the city of Philadelphia that the road to the World Series goes through a gauntlet of elite pitching, and they haven't bought a map this year. They are relying on memory. If the Phillies don't win this year, if they fall short while the Mets or Braves succeed, the consequences will be severe. We are talking about a potential restructuring of the philosophy in Philadelphia. We might see the end of the vibes era and a return to cold, hard transactional baseball. Harper knows his window isn't open forever. He wants a ring in Philadelphia more than he wants air to breathe. And he knows that standing still while your enemies sharpen their swords is a dangerous way to live. This season is going to be a movie, folks. It's going to be a 162-episode drama filled with plot twists, heartbreak, and hopefully, glory. But right now, the script is unwritten, and the Phillies are improvising while the Mets are reading from a new teleprompter. I want to know where you stand in this war. Are you terrified of the Mets' new rotation? Do you think the Phillies made a mistake by being quiet? Or is the chemistry in that locker room worth more than any free agent signing? I want you to go to the comment section right now and tell me, who wins the NL East and why? Don't just give me a team name, give me the reason. Smash that like button if you love this deep dive analysis, subscribe so you don't miss a single update on this race, and remember, in the NL East, no one is safe. I'll see you at the ballpark.